Hello and welcome to Ask MandR,
And R.
episode 316. I'm joined this week by Rod the Collector 3. You can check out his links in the description below. His YouTube channel is not easily searchable, as we found out.
Unfortunately.
So they'll be linked below. Give him a subscribe, give him a follow. But we are going to start out with some questions from Instagram. So if they look different, that's why. First question comes from Big7597Boy. He says, what is the most obscure collectible item that Rod owns?
I'll give a quick honorable mention. I would say that probably the Ghost and Phantom 2-in-1 Super Pack would be an honorable mention for most obscure item in my collection. I know not a whole lot of people have this, so that would be an honorable mention for sure. A fun fact that we recently discovered about this 2-in-1 pack is the fact that on the outer box of the 2-in-1, it shows that there's a black hair Kanan, but when you open it up and actually see the individually boxed set on the inside, it's a brown hair Kanan. But I think what has to be my most obscure item in the collection has to be my LegoCon 2021 influencer box. Had a few sets in there. I believe I posted it on my Instagram a while back.
The sets weren't that exciting.
The box itself is definitely the most obscure thing in my collection.
It's heavy. Got another great question from Building with Vinny. He says, what does Rod think about the new Bumblebee Lego?
So my thoughts on the new Bumblebee, I think overall they did a pretty good job. This is one of the Bumblebees from the Rise of the Beast movie, but the Bumblebee set that they're coming out with is based on G1 Bumblebee like the Optimus Prime. I don't think the Bumblebee is quite as good as the Optimus Prime, but part of that, I think, is because the Bumblebee alt mode doesn't translate as well with LEGO as Optimus. Bumblebee's alt mode in G1 is supposed to be an old school Volkswagen Beetle, and it's entirely curved and rounded. I still think it does a pretty good job of getting the point across of what it's supposed to be, and the robot mode I still think looks pretty good too. So overall, I think they did a really good job, and I'm excited to see what other characters could be coming down the pipeline in the future.
I have no thoughts, personally. YouTube question from Tracer Bullet says, one of the best things about your content is that you're not afraid to criticize LEGO, even when you were a LAN member. However, now that you work with Whatnot, I have not heard you say anything bad about them. What are some things that you don't like about Whatnot? This guy wants me to lose my contract today. Yeah, Whatnot has some things that, I think people aren't super fond of. Do you have anything that you want to start with?
I think the one thing that I've noticed just from a seller perspective, and I obviously don't sell nearly as much as you do, is the random next item button.
Oh, yes.
I wish maybe there was a way to queue up the items you're selling so that you could just hit next item and you know what was coming next instead of it being completely random.
Effectively, what can happen is I can be selling minifigures and be on minifigure 100, and I want the next one to obviously be 101, which would make sense when you press next item. But if you press next item, it'll go to whatever top item is in your auction tab. So that's kind of the vibe there. And so that's not great. The other thing I really don't like having to do is so every once in a while, like Rod said, I sell a lot of stuff on Whatnot, and we'll have a customer service issue where, we send the wrong item out, or we don't send enough of the item. If they ordered 5 of a thing, maybe we accidentally send 4, it happens, and we want to make it right. And so I just don't have the ability to easily refund a customer $5 or $10. So I have to thell them to go contact Whatnot, which just feels convoluted when I feel I wish I could just give them $5 from my Whatnot account. So yeah, there's things like that. But on the whole, if you just look at how my Whatnot streams go, it's usually pretty smooth and it's usually a really great time. So I usually don't have a lot of bad things to say about them, and they're aware of all the I fortunately, unlike when I worked with LEGO, I do feel like I have a very good and open connection with Whatnot. And from the first day, I've worked with the right people at Whatnot. That wasn't the case with LEGO. And I have their phone number, and anything I need, call them up, text them, hey, this is going on, that's going on, what can we do? It's just, night and day. So yeah, there's some differences there between the companies too that I think make a big difference on the way that I feel about the product or the company, whatever. Great question here from Luke Rab. So he asked, do you think it would be possible to get an NIL deal with LEGO? And I thought it was kind of an odd question. Turns out he is on the Georgia Bulldogs as the long snapper. So for those of you that don't know, Rod did play for the Georgia Bulldogs, who Luke happens to now be a part of that team, which is really cool, crazy coincidence.
I'll start off by saying anything is possible.
Yeah.
I know that long snappers in particular probably don't get a lot of love when it comes to the NIL deals. Normally you're looking at the quarterbacks, the wide receivers. Those guys are the ones that are raking in the big NIL deals with the big name companies. If you're super passionate about LEGO and you're willing to go out and share it and put it out there, maybe it could get some traction and maybe you could get a deal working with LEGO. It's just going to be a matter of, putting in that legwork to get it out there, and maybe something will catch.
So you have the football expertise. I feel like I got the LEGO expertise, and Luke, I don't want to break your heart here. So he's already breaking your heart on you're a long snapper. LEGO, from what I can tell, doesn't often do paid things, like they did send Rod the LegoCon box. So like never say never, like there's always a chance if you get in contact with the right person.
Yeah.
But it's very hard. But good luck. I hope you do really well on the team.
Yeah, good luck.
So, next question from Tommy Air says, why can't I find the new Captain Rex's Y-Wing anywhere? Do you want to explain what happened with you?
You might just not be looking in the right places. We went to one of my local Targets here in Birmingham, Alabama, and the shelves were stocked with them.
And it should be noted that like Rod at first was like, oh, we should go to Walmart. And I'm like, for what? And he's like, oh,
Yeah.
Captain Rex's Y-Wing. And I'm like, well, they're not going to have it. And so part of it's like you say not looking in the right place. Quite literally, you could be going to stores that won't have it for another 2 months.
Yep.
So the deal is these June 1st LEGO Star Wars sets are only at LEGO stores and Target in the U.S. I don't know where, else in the world. They are currently available from Target online, like now. You can just buy them. I looked on the site like 5 minutes before we started this video. And so I'll have the commission affiliate link, whatever, like attached to this video. You can get it. It's available. They are hard to find, of course, because they are popular. It happens. But yeah, most Targets that I've seen, like people post pictures of, they'll have like stacks of them. Grant here has a great question for Rod. Says, both barefoot, would you rather kick a Lego football or a negative 30-degree regular football at Lambeau Field?
I think I'm still going to have to go with the regular football at Lambeau Field. Even though it's going to be minus 30 degrees, I'm just concerned that the Lego football is going to like cut my foot open. And even though the football is going to be hard as a rock and super heavy, I'd still rather hit that than risk gashing my foot.
Cosmonaut 8911 says, what do you think is the best and worst Star Wars poly bags?
So I think the best one for me is going to be the Clone Walker that had the Phase 1 Clone Wars Clone Trooper. That's going to be my pick for the best poly bag.
It's got to be the 2008 V19 Torrent. That thing's great, though. Like, low-key, look how good that looks. And it's got the play features, printed Republic logo tile.
Okay.
Okay?
That's a heater.
I just didn't want to pick the same one as him, so I'm going with the V19 Torrent. The worst poly bag ever is the one that I remember clowning on it so much when it came out, like with my buddy Jared. The 2011 ATST, faceless. No print, not even like a design to make it look like it has a face. But next question from Lego Star Wars Life says, for you and Rod, who is the best NFL kicker ever?
For me, as of this recording, I would say that the best is Adam Vinatieri. But I think by the time he retires, it will be Justin Tucker.
I thought you were going to say Justin Tucker first, so yeah, surprised. I'd go Adam Vinatieri or Steven Gostkowski or Nick Folk. Any of the three.
I'm seeing a theme here.
Marvel Kid 612 with a fitting question says, what should be the next big Marvel set?
We're going to just go ahead and move past the rumored X-Mansion that's going to be coming out later this year and go to the next year or whenever the next big Marvel modular is coming out. And I think the next big one should be the Baxter Building, which is the home base for the Fantastic Four. I feel like we've had the Daily Bugle with a lot of the Spider-Man characters. We've got the Sanctum with Doctor Strange. We've got Avengers Tower with all the Avengers characters. And now we're going to be getting the X-Mansion with a lot of the iconic X-Men characters. I feel like the next big group of characters that we need to see is the Fantastic Four, so it should be the Baxter Building.
I will second that because I know nothing better. Kista says, what sets would you like to see and think will be released for the 20th anniversary of Revenge of the Sith next year? And any hope for Bad Batch, Acolyte, and Tales of the Empire sets? I'll let Rod answer the Revenge of the Sith question because I've definitely talked about that.
I think the two biggest sets that I would hope that we get to see for Revenge of the Sith, one would be a remake of some kind of Palpatine's Arrest, whether they do it in a play set like they did the first time or they kind of go the diorama route like with the Emperor's Throne Room. And then the second one would be a new Duel on Mustafar. And I'd kind of like to see a bigger version than the one that we saw a few years ago with the $20 with Anakin versus Obi-Wan. I'd prefer like a bigger play scale version. So those are the two biggest things that I'm open to see next year.
And then any hope for the Bad Batch, Acolyte, and Tales of Empire sets? Like, let's rank it, most likely to least likely.
I think most likely for me that I think would probably be Bad Batch and then Acolyte and then Tales of the Empire.
Yeah, I think I'm in that order. David Chestnut says, what do your teammates think of your LEGO collection, and do any of them have any collections? Yeah, so I just joined the men's league basketball team in my town, and I really told them... No, I'm kidding, go ahead.
When I've been on my teams previously with the Colts and the Cardinals, and even I was in the preseason with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers last year, it was already pretty well known that I was a big collector once I started to do the interviews when I made the team with the Colts. Everyone's got their hobbies, everyone's got their passions, and Lego just happens to be mine. Everyone really respected it. Everyone's got their own stuff that they like to do, and Lego is just for me. So I never really got like clown for it or anything like that, if that's what he's going for. No one really made fun of me for it. And I don't really know of any of my other past teammates that had collections of their own. They might have had it and they just didn't tell me. I can't think of any guys that had their own Lego collections.
Wild Outdoors, continuing from a topic I talked about last episode. The Toys R Us credit card existed. Don't think toys are a sacred non-credit card area. Lego should make a credit card. I think that is a really good and fair point. However, Lego is still definitely not going to make a credit card. Cheeto Eyebrow says, what does bro think of new NFL kickoff rules?
I'm glad you asked. I posted a video recently talking about what I think the future of NFL kickoffs are going to look like. Obviously, the biggest rule change, in my opinion, is the fact that nobody can start covering downfield until either the ball is caught or the ball hits the ground now. So it's going to place way less of an emphasis on hang time and way more of an emphasis on placement of your kick. The NFL kickoffs are going to look very different this year compared to what we're used to. Hopefully there's a lot more kickoff returns because that's what the NFL and the league want, but we're also hoping that you don't see an increase in injuries and concussions.
Johanna says, do we still think Java Sail Barge is coming? It is coming out. We actually recently had a leak. It's out there on the internet somewhere of like part of the box, but it's really one of the inner boxes that has like a movie still of Max Rebo, but it does more or less like finally really confirm that the set is coming out. We already knew it was coming out. Ad Buckholtz says, did Rod get invited to any NFL tryouts this year?
I actually had a workout with the Pittsburgh Steelers a couple months ago. It was probably about a week before all of these spring OTAs started. Didn't kick my best, but at the end of the day, it was still another opportunity to try and get back into the NFL. I'm still trying to make a team, still working out, still kicking, all the time. The dream is still alive, but at this point, we're going to have to wait until preseason camp in August for any more action.
That's kind of how it was last year, right?
Yeah, pretty similar.
Rowan7MS says, thoughts on the Celtics finally getting the win? Okay, I remember why I picked this question now. I actually had a good answer. It wasn't just like, yeah, I'm excited. My reaction to it was a lot more somber than you would imagine. I've been fortunate enough to, experienced quite a few championships with my team, but like in the last decade, I'm a fan of all the Boston teams. So, like the 3 Patriots Super Bowl wins and then the Red Sox, those are kind of the freshest, like peak of my sports fandom wins along with this recent Celtics win. And comparatively, like those Super Bowl wins were all like really exciting, like thrill of the moment, like coming down to the end of the game, not a blowout, man, are they going to win or are they going to lose? Kind of, same way they lost the Eagles Super Bowl, like just nail biter till the end, like what's going to happen. And so like, you don't get a lot of time to think in those games, I feel like. It's the Super Bowl is just like 3 hours and it's over. So yeah, I was like jumping up and down for joy when the Patriots won the Super Bowl every time. The Celtics winning the championship was a completely different like spiritual experience for me. So like I was, fortunate enough to go to like 2 NBA Finals games 1 and 2. Had a great time, but more so like even if I hadn't actually physically been at some of the games, I feel like my fandom of the Celtics over the last 7-8 years has been such a roller coaster that like this moment, like the entire fourth quarter, I was just like, man, it's happening. And like I wasn't jumping up and down for joy, but I was like sad. Like tears of joy, sad. Just thinking about all the old players that I really liked, like Isaiah Thomas and Marcus Smart, and like all these people that I really liked, and it's like, man, they're not on the team, and that sucks. But I'm like also at the same time really happy for Al Horford and Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown and Kristaps Porzingis, like with the game of his life in the first game, and then like getting hurt and like he shouldn't really be playing, but he's playing, and like I don't know, I might have had a couple tears. It's like just completely different feeling and experience than I thought it would be. Like there are moments where I was like mad, excited and hyped for the team over the course of the playoffs, but the entirety of Game 4 is just like this is real and it's really happening and it's kind of sad. So
yeah, I mean, it's funny you mentioned like I can't imagine what you must have been like watching the Patriots versus Falcons Super Bowl a few years back when the Falcons just took out a monumental lead in the first half, and then I imagine you might have just been devastated at halftime, but then sure enough, Patriots, here they come, slowly but surely chipping away, and then they won it in overtime. Like the comparison of the feelings of that game compared to what you were feeling when the Celtics are winning by 25 in the fourth quarter, very different experience.
I feel like I was really hyped about that one. I feel like the most excited I was the 2014 one with Malcolm Butler. I lost it. Yep. I was just gone. I was out of my seat, gone, running around the pool wherever I was. I kind of wish I was here. You could have experienced the whole I'm a sports fan, for my teams, and it's up and down with the team, so now that it's over, I'm like, elated, and it was rough, watching like Tatum like basically crying on the sideline, like brings you to tears. All right, next question. Getting off the emotional roller coaster, back onto another one. Or Jude Eaton? I don't know.
I think it's Jude Eaton.
Yeah, he says Rod's opinion on helmet holes, printed waist capes, and Phase 2 Venator Rex in Microfighter. Basically the 3 horsemen of the apocalypse.
Yeah, basically. 3 horsemen right here. I think helmet holes do have their place in LEGO Star Wars, but it needs to be the right place. Just them using the double holes on every single clone trooper that they put out, not a huge fan of, because certain clone troopers do need them for helmet attachments, other clone troopers don't. So I would prefer if they would use the helmet mold that doesn't have holes in it for the troopers that don't need it. Now, the other thing that I'm not a huge fan of is the fact that I thought when they did do a Phase 2 helmet, they would have the holes in the right place in the first place. And Ryan and I have talked about this previously, where they put out the Phase 1 Clone Trooper helmet for the Clone Wars and for the movies, and the Phase 1 helmet mold has the holes in the right place. The spot where the hole should have been was not in the right place. So then when they finally get around to making a Phase 2 helmet that has holes, they do another set of holes right above it, and so neither of the holes, whether it's the ones that you actually plug in or the ones that are filled, are in the right place.
Yeah.
Printed waist capes, I wish that we had cloth waist capes. I think that some of the clone troopers that we had with the cloth waist capes, like the 212th Airborne, I think are some of the best clone troopers that we've been given so far, and I wish that they would go back to that, because the printed waist capes just don't really cut it for me. Just having that slim print on the front of the legs just doesn't do it for me.
And then Phase 2 Venator Rex in Microfighter.
I think it's a good thing that we got another Phase 2 Captain Rex in a set that wasn't $650. I just don't think it necessarily needed to be the exact carbon copy of that one. I mean, Captain Rex is obviously a super popular character that we all have come to know and love if you watch the Clone Wars. And so the fact that we hadn't had a Captain Rex since 2013, I think he was due to get a new figure.
Of course.
Obviously, him being in a Venator is fine, because we see him on the Venator, all the time throughout the show, so it was appropriate inclusion. But I don't think that the exact same Captain Rex needed to be included in another set. I think we should have gotten another Phase 2 Captain Rex, but it should have been not as nice of a version.
Gabe Blair says, do either of you have a LEGO Star Wars opinion that the other completely disagrees on? We tried pretty hard to think of something.
Yeah. We were thinking about all of the most controversial topics that are circulating in the community right now, and I feel like we're pretty aligned on most things.
We're both adult collectors that general accuracy. Obviously you can have playability, that's obviously a thing, but there are limits to what you should do within the AAT top piece.
Okay. So
I modified mine.
Oh yeah. Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Because it was obnoxiously long.
Well, see, I disagree. I don't think you should modify your sets, actually.
Okay.
So there you go. There's one. I wouldn't have to. See, I don't modify it. I wouldn't change it.
Yeah.
I think it sucks and it looks dumb, but that's the way it's gonna stay on the shelf.
That might be the only thing, and it's not even something I do all the time. Probably 99% of the things that I collect, I build it and I display it exactly how it comes.
Yeah.
I think the 2 exceptions that I can think of, one would be that AAT where I took one of the barrel pieces off to make it more accurate, and then the other one is the Commander Cody from the ATTE. I bought the Marge Simpson CMF with the dual molded orange and white arms to put on him.
Last question from DK Sider says, do you think they will remake some of the Force Awakens set next year because it's the 10-year of the movie?
It's interesting you bring up that it's a 10-year anniversary of The Force Awakens, but it's also an anniversary for Revenge of the Sith.
It's like when you have 2 kids and their birthdays are on the same day and you just like one better.
I think at this point in time, Revenge of the Sith is definitely the more well-received movie, and so if I had to put my eggs in a basket for one movie getting sets over the other, it's definitely going to be Episode 3. Obviously, there was some cool stuff that we saw in The Force Awakens. If there was going to be one set that I would think is most likely to get remade, it would be a remake of the final duel with Rey and Kylo.
Okay.
Maybe have Finn in there when they were in the forest. That's the thing that I think would be most likely, just because it was the kind of the iconic final conflict of the movie. Anything else, I got no clue.
We were out of questions, but I realized they totally watched this video and were like, yo, are they never going to tell us where that Commander Cody's from?
It's also on my YouTube channel.
Oh,
but
there you go.
Last year, I was invited up to Bricks and Minifigs in Mission, Kansas for the grand opening of their store. And the store owner, Will, was kind enough to gift me this Commander Cody when I was up there. So Commander Cody came back with me from Kansas City. He barely fit in my carry-on, but yeah, that's where he came from.
It is 3D printed, by the way.
Yeah, it's 3D printed, and it's made to match the scale of those wooden Lego minifigures, I believe.
All right, guys, so make sure you check out Rod's Instagram and YouTube, linked in the description below. Also, if you wanted to buy a Captain Rex's Wowie and you couldn't find one, use the YouTube shopping link, and I'll get a little bit of commission on that, so it supports the channel.
Like, comment, and subscribe.
Very nice.